Hey, welcome back to my channel. During this video, I'm going to go through what Nick said, the roadside assistance guy, to Adventures with Purpose about his situation that he had on August 6th, 2022, allegedly, with a car that resembled Kiely Rodni's CRV. He said a female was in possession of the car and that she had a male with her. I'm going to compare his story to my reading that I did for Kiely Rodni on August 13th, 2022, that I posted on my channel on August 13th. Let's see how these two things align. Let's do this. Let's start with my post of my reading. I am a psychic medium, and I get visions shown to me. On August 13th, as I watched Annie Elise on the channel 10 to Life, I was shown two different visions. I documented them on this community post here on my channel on the same day, August 13th. And I wrote, I see the car hidden. I was shown two different spots though. First, I was shown the car hidden by brush in a wooded area. Then I got the feeling of being underwater. And just to be transparent as possible, because I am a psychic medium and I have to be, you can still see every community post that I made about my readings for Kiely on August 13th and more on my channel right now, today. You can also see all of the dates and the timeline of my post showing validation of what I said in this video. And I'll share the link in my description box and in the pinned comment. I'll also leave the link to my validation playlist. This is a playlist of nothing but factual evidence validating my readings. When we get factual information from law enforcement, if it validates something that I said, I document it, make a video, and add it to this playlist. So my first vision was seeing Kiely's silver 2013 CRV in a wooded area. It looked like it was hidden by trees and branches and brush and greenery, etc. Okay, so now let's listen to what Nick said to Adventures with Purpose, and then I'll tell you my thoughts as I listened to this interview for the very first time.
So my name is Nick. I work at the Emergency Roadside Assistance Program. I got a call up in Truckee, Boca, for a battery call. So pretty much that means our vehicle can't start. So I went en route up there, found the vehicle. At the time, I didn't realize that this was a situation until later on. But
let me stop right there. You said you went to Boca.
Yes, sir.
So over near Boca Lake.
Yes, sir.
So not Prosser Lake, Prosser Creek Lake.
It's right by Prosser Creek.
Yeah, so just north. So you went.
Okay, so far we've learned that this guy's name is Nick, and he's an emergency roadside program employee, and he got a call out to the Boca area. Now, I'm going to be documenting each thing that we learn throughout watching these clips so that we can go over them at the end, and we're also going to review the factual timeline that we know of. So let's keep going.
At first, when I went there, I realized after my test that, everything was working great on the vehicle. At that point in time, I did notice that, she was very hesitant and very skeptical on everything that was going on. She was asking me really weird questions, in the sense of, how do you put on your seatbelt correctly? And, okay, and she asked me to show her on how to connect it to, her actual belt.
We learned a lot in that short little tiny clip right there. Okay, let's start. First, he said everything worked fine on the vehicle. So that leads me to two different options. One, it is very possible that this wasn't even Kiely's car. But if it wasn't, why hasn't this girl come forward and say, hey, that was me, not Kiely? She even had somebody else with her. So now there's two sets of eyes that are on social media in that area to see Kiely's story, to raise some red flags in their minds and say, maybe I should come forward and tell Nick that it was me and not Kiely. But nobody has come forward. Okay, so let's proceed. Let's proceed with, maybe this was Kiely's car. Okay, I believe whatever happened to the vehicle had to have been major for them to call for help. Unless this was a setup. Unless this was, I need documentation of somebody seeing this car And we're going to make sure that my face isn't shown very well so that it will look like I'm Kiely from a distance. Now I know that that's a little vague, and I do apologize. So let's say, this is all speculation here for just a moment. Let's say out of all the friends that Kiely has that we have seen, we have Sammy, we have Mags, and then we have Kate. Now, out of those three friends, who resembles Kiely the most? Ding, ding, ding. Number 3. Please step forward. Kate. Kate and Kiely resemble each other the most. I'm going to add a bonus clip at the end of this video so I can show you something that really sparked my interest when I saw it. I don't feel that it deserves a whole video, but it definitely needs to be seen and said. It aligns with part of what Spirit showed me. So we learned everything worked fine on the vehicle, so it's either 1, this wasn't even Kiely's car, but nobody has come forward yet, or this was Kiely's car, and everything was fine on the vehicle, so this was a setup to make sure that Kiely's car was seen and to make it seem like it was Kiely. Maybe to buy a few more hours? Maybe. Okay, then he said the female was very hesitant and very skeptical about everything that was going on. But the only example that he could give was she asked really weird questions. And his one example of that was about the seatbelt. So she was acting so super weird and very hesitant and very skeptical. Why can he only give us one example of how she was acting? Unless there was more that AWP clipped out, because I did hear that this interview was only 10% of what Nick told AWP. So that is very possible. If she was acting very hesitant and very skeptical and trying to detour him around the car by saying, how do I work the seatbelt? Come over here and show me. Maybe it was because they were trying to detour him in certain areas of the car. Maybe they didn't want him around the back end, so they were trying to keep him up towards the front of the car as much as possible. Okay, let's keep listening because there's a whole lot more.
After that, she was stating on how she was there all night and she couldn't get her vehicle started due to the fact that now we both realized it was in neutral. She was wearing a sweatshirt, so it looked like she has been there for quite a while.
What color was the sweatshirt?
It was a gray sweatshirt.
Gray sweatshirt. Was it dark gray or light gray?
It was light gray.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, in this clip, he starts out by saying that this female told him that she was there all night. Okay, but they were at Boca, not Prosser. So my assumption would be that this female and male, or at least the female, was at Boca Lake, not Prosser, all night. Then he said the car was in neutral, which caused it not to start, and there's been a lot of debate. Some say that their car will start in neutral, and some say that theirs won't. So we don't know, because we don't know what year this vehicle was that Nick allegedly helped. Then the final thing, she was wearing a light gray sweatshirt. Kiely was never stated to be seen in a light gray sweatshirt. They showed this dark gray sweatshirt and said that she had borrowed it on Friday the 5th. And then they showed this white sweatshirt with pink writing on it, but no light gray sweatshirt. The gray sweatshirt, the dark gray sweatshirt that Kiely borrowed on Friday the 5th, I consider that dark gray because I consider this a light gray. Now, if you're wondering, this is one of my merch items. I'll leave the link in the description box in the pinned comment below this video so you can check it out, and it comes in 5 other colors also. But this is light gray, not this, in my opinion. What do you think about that? All right, let's keep going.
Also, there was a guy there that was with her at time being. He was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forwards, brown hair that's sticking out just a little bit on the sides.
I gotta interject right here. He just said that this mystery man with this female was wearing a black San Francisco flat top ball cap facing forward. Okay, let's look at how close San Francisco is to Truckee. These ball caps are popular everywhere. When I Googled the San Francisco ball cap, I found the guy that he was talking about. The guy that had brown hair with a little bit sticking out on the sides. That could be anybody. But everybody has assumed that he was referring to Jagger. Now, I did see Jared get up on Zavgirl's panel and said that Nick did positively identify a male that he believes that he saw that day. Everybody assumes that it's Jagger. We have no proof whatsoever that it was Jagger. He said that brown hair was sticking out a little bit on the sides. And Jagger's hair is longer, and I wouldn't describe it as just sticking out a little bit on the sides.
It was kind of like they were both kind of at unease is what it looked like for me, like as if either they had a crazy night or a crazy day, or there's something going on I couldn't know, and at the time I didn't realize what was going on. But other than that, he was a thinner built guy is the best way I could put it, with a bro tank, and it was a white bro tank. He had some freckles on his face, or maybe it was acne or whatnot, but it was on both sides of his face. He was also a little bit shorter than me, so I'm 6'3".
Woo! All right, he said a lot there, right? Okay, he said they were uneased. Crazy night, crazy day, something going on. Like maybe they were trying to hide a deceased body in the back of the vehicle, possibly. Maybe, who knows? Then he said at the time he didn't realize what was going on because he didn't realize until a week later, which we're going to hear that in just a few minutes. He also described the male that he remembered seeing with the female. He said it was a thinner built guy wearing a white bro tank. He had freckles on his face. Oh, wait, it might have been acne because he's unsure which. He's 6'3", and this guy was a little bit shorter than him, possibly between 5'10" and 6 foot, according to where he held his hand. What you see on your screen here is part of a police report from Yuma, Arizona for the Vaughn McCrae case, which I'm also working on. I love the way that they word this in reference to the use of body cam footage. Okay, it says body-worn camera footage has been captured and submitted to the Yuma Police Department Digital Evidence Management System. This is the important part. Human memory and perception have limitations, and video evidence may depict events differently than the report writer perceived during the event or recalled at the time of writing this report. And that's why eyewitness statements are never 100% accurate 100% of the time. Roll it.
In hindsight, you're realizing all of this. When do you think that this took place? Was it before, during the day, after she disappeared?
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before she disappeared.
Okay.
But it was around noonish, 11 o'clock in the morning when I got out to her.
Whoa, Nelly. To be honest is never a good quote to hear from someone, ever. Anytime someone says, to be honest, or honestly, does that mean the rest of what they just said was a lie? And they're being honest right when they said that because they said so? Not only did he say, to be honest, which is a sign of a liar, allegedly, he also stuttered right after, during his honest answer.
To be honest with you, it's either right after she disappeared or right before. After she disappeared or right before.
And he thinks that it was around 11 a.m. or noonish that he got out to this female. That would be 2 to 3 hours after Lindsay, Kiely's mom, met up with Kiely's friends at Starbucks waiting to see if Kiely would show up. That was all on Saturday, August 6th. I have to share this right here. And this is unedited, added in, okay? When I first watched this interview with Nick, my heart sunk. I immediately thought about my vision of Kiely's car in the wooded area, and that's why I wanted to make this video. But as I'm making this video, my mind is changing. I'll explain more later, but let's go ahead and keep going for now.
During that period of time, after the period. I told her that I was going to leave and I hope you have a great day. Vehicle, I told her to keep it running for a couple of hours to obviously make sure everything's working good on the vehicle, charging system wise. At that point in time, then I left, and then a week later is when I saw at a coffee shop that she was gone.
You saw this on a flyer or something?
Yeah, but then everything spiraled out of control, and I got in contact with the detective and tried to do everything I could, and yeah, and then I saw you guys.
Now we know we probably have a tie to Boca, you know, which was already on my radar.
And this is the part where we hear Nick say that he didn't think about this incident again until a week after it happened. Okay, two things here. If his memory is correct, if he identified the male that was with the female, who does he think the male is? He felt this female, who we never heard him describe what she looked like, was very hesitant and very skeptical. But he didn't alert authorities right then? I don't know. And what exactly did he mean when he said a week later he saw at a coffee shop that, quote, she was gone? This makes me think that he believes the female that he helped was Kiely. The last thing that he said that confused me was about, quote, everything spiraled out of control, end quote. But he got in contact with the detective. Which detective and what spiraled out of control? A week later would have been a week before Kiely was found, a week before this interview, a week after Kiely vanished, which would have been August 13th and 14th, when not much was going on. What spiraled out of control?
Do you know who placed the call to your roadside company?
So I can't get details. Calls don't go through me, they go through
Dispatch. So you don't have. So when you were digitally dispatched, did you call them to say you were coming, or you just showed up?
I did call and nothing went through. It went straight to voicemail.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you know if she had a phone on her at the time?
She did state that her phone was dead.
Her phone
and
was
so
dead.
she used whatever guy, whoever this was, she used his phone. So that's how she did get in contact.
And what was?
So Nick doesn't know who called for help because he doesn't have anybody's names. Nick himself said that he called, but, quote, nothing went straight through. Went straight to voicemail, yeah, end quote. So what was the number that he called? Has he or law enforcement tried to call that number since? This mystery Kiely lookalike said that her phone was dead, so she used the mystery man's phone to get in contact. So was it her number or his number that Nick allegedly called back before he met up with them? I'm not getting good feelings about this guy. Roll it.
You mentioned like she was asking funny questions and acting weird.
Granted, I at the time I didn't realize again that.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the towing industry my whole life, so you see a lot of crazy stuff, a lot of weird stuff, and it's actually pretty normal. You know. So I can see why at the time it's just a normal call.
She kept on going over that, like, how do you like, you know, secure your seatbelt firmly and like do it correctly, and that's when
she was asking this, was the guy that she was with right there too?
He was on the opposite side of the car.
So he could hear the conversation as well?
Every single time the guy would come over to us, she would go on to the other side, and it was just like a back and forth, like a tag team. Better to say, like one person would come over, she wouldn't stay near him, and then it would go vice versa. Or if we were at the front of the car going about the battery and talking about the battery, he was always on one side, she was on another. They were never close to each other.
She was uncomfortable.
Right.
Yeah.
Again, with this one example of how this very hesitant and very skeptical girl acted by asking about the seatbelt safety. And now he adds that the couple never stood together after he was asked. Tag team was the example that Nick used. This is part of what initially caught my attention when I first heard this. This is what made me picture a girl and a guy around this car, moving around, trying to keep the roadside guy away from the back end of this car. My initial thought was whoever this couple was had Kiely in the back end of her own car, covered with something blue or black, like I saw in my vision. I thought this couple removed Kiely from the Prosser Campground where the party was happening and drove to the Boca area, which is exactly where Nick said that he assisted this couple. I thought this couple was going to try to hide Kiely and her car in the wooded area like I saw in my other vision. I thought the couple changed their mind and decided to take Kiely and her car back to Prosser, but they had trouble with the car. Now that I'm watching this interview in smaller sections like this to make this video, I'm second guessing myself. It's not all adding up. What Nick is saying sounds like he's lying, in my opinion. Should I second guess myself? Is Nick telling the truth, or is he making shit up as he goes? Is it possible that he's right, but the girl wasn't Kiely? Maybe the girl was Kate. Make sure that you watch until the end of this video so that you'll see exactly why I say I believe if Nick is being honest, I believe this female was Kate. Let's listen to more.
Because, yeah, that screams awkwardness and someone being uncomfortable. And when in that scenario, if he was there with her, he should have been right next to her. If not dealing with you the entire time and not her.
I'm curious if the male was with the female, or did he drive himself to try to help her? Because if they were dropping off Kiely and her car in the wooded area, it would make sense that the male would have a vehicle so that the couple could leave and leave Kiely in the car behind. Did the male have his own vehicle? If you know, because I know the AWP team has been on many panels, but I've only seen Jared on Zap Girl's panel. So if you know, please let me know where I can go to hear it for myself. If the male had his own vehicle there on Saturday, August 6th, when Nick helped this couple. Thank you so much. Roll it.
Did she seem high or intoxicated or?
I thought that maybe she was either hungover or just had a really rough day. She looked distressed.
The female looked distressed. Noted.
Can you show me on the map where you saw her?
Absolutely.
All right, so we're here in Reno. Let's go down to Truckee. There's Prosser, there's Boca. Just drop a pin on the road exactly where you saw her.
Well, we're at the right place, right? Boca, you come in, you follow this road down. I think that is the turnout. Right there. Yeah, this is it. And so right there, she was coming out this way,
so and her front end was facing 894.
Yeah.
All right. And did you leave before her, or did she leave before you?
I left before her.
Was there anybody else around?
There was people far back here, yes, but not near her, no.
Okay, so they don't show the exact spot where the car was parked, but Nick said that she was facing the road. Facing the road as if they were leaving that area. So was it a place where cars park, or on the side of a drive area like she had pulled over? So many questions. Ugh.
Did you notice anything in particular in her car at all?
I mean, besides perfume bottles and yeah, actually there was a perfume bottle that was in the center console, and that was all that I recall, to be honest. That was all that I recall, to be honest.
Oh my gosh, there's that to be honest shit again. He only saw one perfume bottle, which was in the center console. Okay, well, I'm sure by now we've all seen all the items that Kiely had in her car. In AWP's video, we could see a hairbrush, a laptop, a charging cord, an alcohol bottle, clothes, so many things. Since then, I've seen many items that a local found that fell out of the car when law enforcement flipped it, and this local went down in the water to gather all the items that he could. But Nick saw a perfume bottle, and that's it, which I do not recall anyone showing a perfume bottle seen or found from Kiely's car, right? See, things like this make me do the second guessing and think that this wasn't even Kiely's car that Nick saw on Saturday, August 6th. Roll it.
Have anything on her keys at all?
I don't remember.
Did you say that you guys have cameras that can possibly get some sort of facial recognition on?
Yeah, so we do indeed. We have cameras facing front and rear of our vehicles, as well as that we do have audio, so we can pick up audio from inside and outside of the truck. So we did have that, and I'm guaranteed, I mean, my vehicle is facing directly towards hers, so and that's how I normally do it for my protection.
So there is video footage to back up or dispute everything that Nick has said, including audio. But let's keep listening.
What's the window you're giving us of when this happened?
Either Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, I believe. One of the kids.
Wait a minute. Friday, Saturday, or Sunday? Oh, come on. Really?
The weekends I usually cover Truckee, so, and that Friday I also worked in Truckee, so yeah.
If you were to make a bet on what day it was, what would you say?
When I was looking back under my GPS, under my phone and where I've been, I was there both Saturday and Sunday, farther into Boca.
Okay, so now he's saying it could be Saturday the 6th or Sunday the 7th. So where did Nick say that he called his girlfriend, and where did AWP talk to her? I've heard the rumor that she remembered when this happened, which was Saturday, because Nick called her after this situation due to such an odd encounter, but he didn't call law enforcement. And she knew that it was on Saturday, August 6th, because that's her dad's birthday. But I haven't seen this for myself, which is why I call it a rumor. I'm sure many of you can tell me exactly where I can see this conversation, so please leave a link to the video in a comment so that I can hear exactly what was said. Please and thank you so much. I love you bunches. Let's keep rolling.
Everything you just heard unfolded right here where I'm standing. Talking about where Nick described him parking his service van. When he pulled up to give the battery service to Kiely, he parked his van right here, facing that direction. Her vehicle was parked right over here, facing 894, that way.
Whoa. Wait a second. How many people caught that Doug just said Nick serviced Kiely's vehicle? Listen again.
When he pulled up to give the battery service to Kiely, he parked to Kiely.
And that's how much Doug believes Nick's story. So I do believe that Nick did help a female on Saturday, August 6th in this area. Let me break down some logic. I do believe that this situation happened only because Nick said the company that he works for has cameras on his van that recorded all of the stops. I find it very hard to believe that this guy would show his face like this to give information about such a tragedy, but be a liar? I don't think Nick is a dummy. Now, we've seen people lie during major tragedies just for clout. I mean, Jonathan Lee Riches said that he was an uncle to the Sandy Hook shooter, Adam Lanza. But he also had a very long history of outrageous lawsuits that he filed, and most were while he was in prison on fraud charges. But Nick doesn't appear to be like JLR, in my opinion. And it seems JLR has stopped all of the crazy, frivolous lawsuits too, thankfully. But how likely is it that we, the public, will get to see that video unless it's evidence in a court hearing? So he could be lying. But let's say that Nick is being honest and he's sharing what he believes that he remembers. Nick said that this happened at the Tahoe National Forest Boca Campground area. This brings me back to my original thought when I watched this interview for the very first time. I immediately went to my vision of Kiely's car hidden in a wooded area. Again, that takes me back to, was this couple hiding Kiely in the back of her own vehicle? Did they tag team Nick to keep him away from the back of the car because Kiely's body was back there? If this happened around 11 a.m. to noonish, and Kiely was last seen around 12:30 a.m., which was 11 to 12 hours prior, maybe the perfume was used to cover the smell from rigor mortis from Kiely's body. That was all my original thought when I watched AWP's video when they first released it to the public on September 2nd. Now, let me show you why I immediately thought this female that Nick met on Saturday, August 6th, around 11 a.m. was not Kiely Rodni. I'm going to show you why I believe this female was actually Kiely's friend, Kate. Kate was allegedly with Kiely in the earlier hours on Friday, August 5th, when they allegedly made creme brulee together.
The day of the party, I hung out with her, we made creme brulee. Everything was normal. I don't think she ran away. I would have noticed if something was slightly off.
This interview with Kate was done when she was with Jagger, Kiely Rodni's boyfriend when they were looking for Kiely on August 10th, the 4th day of Kiely Rodni being missing. Now, I'm not going over this whole interview, but I do want to point out the way that Kate is looking at Jagger as he talks. But Jagger never once looks at Kate when she talks. Let's watch.
Whereabouts, but we'll get started tonight with Rowena Shaddix live in Reno. And Ro, we know that you spoke exclusively with Kiely's close friend and her boyfriend, who checked some of the locations where they know that that teen spent time before.
I definitely feel like that in this current situation that she's safe. I don't know where she is. We don't have anything to go off of at this point, but I fully believe that she's alive and well, and I fully believe that the two of us, three of us, or other people are going to bring her home safe.
Is it possible that Kate has a crush on Jagger? Or the stronger feeling that I got was that Kate had a crush on Kiely Rodni. I'm feeling, and have been since August 13th when I did my first dive into Kiely's case, that there's a strong feeling of the Skylar Neese case and jealousy. Lots of jealousy. Kiely was only 16 years old, on her way early to Stanford College to become a professional with a career. Kiely was a very loving and caring person. When I did my reading for Kiely, I felt her energy so very strong, and I'll share some of that now. I got from Kiely's energy, Kiely was struggling with someone. She wanted to brush it off and keep things moving, but that's not what the other person wanted. They wanted Kiely to do something that she didn't want to do, or stop doing something that she didn't want to stop. Kiely didn't want to be told what to do. She was a very free spirit, and she loved being free. She was very logical and realistic. Kiely was so smart and proud of herself, but very humble. She was a fearless leader, which this person loved about her, but also wanted to change it. They worried about Kiely. Kiely was focused and knew what she wanted to do. She was determined and a creative thinker. I'm feeling that someone wanted her to go on a different path, and she wasn't having it. As you can see in the top left-hand corner, that was from my reading on September 2nd, 2022. Okay, so let's end it here. Let me know your thoughts and your opinions on everything that I shared in this video. I know it's a lot and kind of all over with lots of different subjects, but I needed to get all of this out. I can't wait to read your comments. Please leave as many comments as you want. Leave links to videos that I can hear and see facts of Kiely's case. So much happens every hour on YouTube that it's so hard to keep up. I really appreciate your help. I'm going to continue to pray for answers, for peace, for love, for light, and for closure for Kiely's dad, Daniel, and Kiely's mom, Lindsay, and for all of those who love Kiely Rodni. Thank you so much for watching. Leave our hashtag #SSSquad in your comment to let me know that you made it all the way to the end of this video. Thank you so very much, and until next time, I love you bunches.